From the abyss, the stars burned cold and distant as the UES Resolute cut through the darkness of uncharted space. Captain Ileana Reeves stood on the bridge, her reflection ghosting against the vast viewport. At 43, she had the distinction of commanding humanity's most advanced deep space vessel, a sleek obsidian arrowhead housing 130 souls. Sensor sweep complete, Captain. Lieutenant Commander Davi Santos announced from his station. No anomalies detected. We're approaching the boundary of mapped space. Reeves nodded, her steel-gray eyes fixed on the void beyond. Send our final position report to command. Let them know we're proceeding as scheduled. Earth had waited generations for this moment. The Resolute was humanity's pride, a vessel built to pierce the veil of the unknown region beyond the Perseus Arm. For decades, the galactic community had warned humans against venturing there, citing navigational hazards. But Earth's curiosity would not be contained by alien caution. Message away, Communications Officer Lynn reported, though I'm getting some unusual interference. Reeves turned. What kind of interference? I'm not sure. It's like nothing in our database. Lynn's fingers danced across her console. Wait. There's something out there. The ship's sensors suddenly flared to life, readings spiking across every station. A strange luminescence appeared ahead, a swirling maelstrom of energy that hadn't been there moments before. Full stop, Reeves ordered, but the command came too late. The Resolute shuddered as tendrils of iridescent light reached out, enveloping the ship. The bridge erupted in cascading alarms and frantic shouts. Reeves gripped her command chair, watching as reality itself seemed to bend around them. Engines not responding. The helm officer shouted, "We're being pulled in." The last transmission from the Resolute was a fragmented distress call. Then silence fell across the comms, as though the ship and all aboard had simply ceased to exist. Admiral Helena Chen stared at the holographic display, the Resolute's last known coordinates pulsing red against the star map. 3 days had passed since contact was lost. Still nothing, she asked, though she already knew the answer. Commander Marcus Wright shook his head. No, Admiral. The scout ships reached the coordinates an hour ago. There's no debris, no radiation signature, no distress beacon, nothing to indicate the Resolute was ever there. Chen ran a hand through her silver-streaked hair. A state-of-the-art vessel doesn't just vanish, Commander. The collective representatives are requesting a meeting, Wright said quietly. Chen's jaw tightened. The Galactic Collective, an alliance of 7 advanced species that had grudgingly welcomed humanity into their interstellar community 50 years ago, had opposed the Resolute's mission from the start. Let them wait, she said. I want every piece of data from those scout ships analyzed first. But the collective wouldn't wait. Within hours, their delegates arrived at Earth's orbital diplomatic station. The meeting chamber felt oppressively small as Chen faced the alien representatives. This unfortunate incident was preventable, said Kellenar, the Voshian delegate, his translucent skin pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that betrayed his irritation. We advised against sending vessels into the shrouded region. It is forbidden for good reason. Forbidden by whom? Chen countered. The Resolute was well within international space. We have every right to explore. Rights. The Tellurian representative clicked her mandibles together in what humans had learned was a gesture of dismissal. Your species always speaks of rights when you should speak of wisdom. That region is dangerous in ways your primitive understanding cannot grasp. Chen leaned forward. Then help us understand. Help us find our people. The aliens exchanged glances, a silent communication passing between them. We regret, Kellenar said finally, that recovery is impossible. Your vessel has been lost to the void current. Nothing returns from it. That's not good enough, Chen said, rising to her feet. We're mounting a full search and rescue operation. We request collective assistance and access to your deep space monitoring data. Denied, the Tellurian said flatly. We will not risk further losses. The matter is closed. After the delegates departed, Chen remained at the table, a cold suspicion forming in her mind. The collective had been too quick to abandon hope, too adamant against further investigation. They knew something they weren't sharing. Over the following weeks, Earth launched its own search operations, hampered at every turn by collective restrictions. Ships were denied passage through certain sectors. Requests for advanced scanning technology were rejected. The message was clear: accept the loss and move on. But humans had never been good at giving up on their own. 3 months after the Resolute's disappearance, Dr. Amara Okafor sat alone in her laboratory at the Lunar Observatory, reviewing deep space telemetry data. As the Resolute's former chief science officer, grounded due to a last-minute injury, she had devoted every waking hour to searching for her ship and crewmates. Her computer chimed with an incoming transmission. Admiral Chen's face appeared on screen, her expression unreadable. "Amara, are you alone?" Okafor straightened. "Yes, Admiral. What's happening?" "We've detected something. I'm sending you the data now. Keep this strictly confidential." The files appeared on her screen, a series of energy readings from a listening post at the edge of the solar system. Okafor's eyes widened as she analyzed the pattern. This can't be right." She looked up at Chen. "This energy signature matches the Resolute's quantum drive, but it's been altered, amplified somehow. Can you confirm it's our ship?" "The base pattern is unmistakable," Okafor said, her heart racing. "But these modifications, they are beyond anything in our technology. Beyond anything the collective has shared with us." Chen's face hardened. The collective representatives just demanded an emergency meeting. They know something's coming. "Coming?" Okafor echoed. "You mean?" "The Resolute is returning, Doctor, but according to these readings, it's no longer the ship that left." Within hours, long-range sensors throughout the solar system began tracking an object approaching at impossible speed. It moved unlike any known vessel, seeming to ripple through space rather than travel through it. The collective's reaction was immediate and alarming. Their diplomatic mission evacuated Earth without explanation. Collective vessels throughout human space abruptly departed. Communications channels fell silent. Then came the message, broadcast on all frequencies, using Earth military encryption codes, but distorted in a way that sent chills through everyone who heard it. "This is Captain Ileana Reeves of the UES Resolute. We have returned. We have seen. We have learned. And now we bring the truth." The voice was Reeves, yet somehow not, layered with harmonics that no human vocal cords could produce. The message continued. "The collective has lied to us all. They are not protectors. They are not guides. They are jailers, and their prison is breaking." Tracking stations followed the Resolute's approach with growing alarm. The ship that appeared on their screens barely resembled the vessel that had departed. Its sleek hull was now etched with intricate patterns that glowed with shifting colors. It moved with a fluid grace that defied physics, leaving no engine signature, no radiation trail. When it reached the outer planets, it simply stopped, hanging motionless beyond Neptune's orbit. Admiral Chen assembled a team of Earth's best scientists, military strategists, and diplomatic experts. Among them was Dr. Okafor, who had spent days analyzing the transformed vessel. Whatever happened to the Resolute, it wasn't destruction. Okafor explained, displaying enhanced images of the ship. "These modifications aren't random. They're systematic, purposeful, and they're still happening. The ship is continuing to change even as we watch." "Are the crew still alive?" Chen asked. Okafor hesitated. "There are life signs aboard, but..." She brought up a new image, a thermal scan showing humanoid figures moving within the ship. "They're not registering as fully human anymore." The silence that followed was broken by a communications officer rushing into the room. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the Collective Council itself. They're ordering us to destroy the Resolute." Chen's eyes narrowed. "On what authority do they order us to fire on our own people?" They claim the ship and crew have been compromised by void entities. They say all life in the galaxy is at risk. Before Chen could respond, alarms blared throughout the facility. On the main display, the Resolute was moving again, not toward Earth, but toward a small collective outpost on Triton, Neptune's largest moon. They watched in stunned silence as the transformed Earth vessel approached the outpost. There was no exchange of fire, no visible weapons deployed. The Resolute simply extended what looked like tendrils of light, enveloping the alien facility. And then the outpost changed, its structures reconfiguring, merging with the same glowing patterns that adorned the Earth ship. The process took less than 5 minutes. "My God," someone whispered. "What are we dealing with?" Dr. Okafor stared at the screen, a terrible realization dawning. Something that the collective feared enough to hide from all of us. Something they've known about all along. The Resolute turned away from the transformed outpost and resumed its journey inward toward Earth, accelerating with each passing moment. Chen looked around the room at the faces of her team. Scientists, soldiers, leaders all gripped by the same mixture of awe and terror. "Contact the collective," she ordered. "Tell them we want the truth. All of it. Or we handle this our way." But she already suspected it was too late for negotiations. Whatever was returning from the depths of space, wearing the face of the Resolute and speaking with Captain Reeves' voice, had come to change everything. And humanity would have to decide whether to fight it or join it. Harbingers of change. The Resolute hung in Earth orbit like an impossible dream. Familiar yet utterly transformed. Its hull rippled with patterns that seemed to shift between solid matter and pure energy, defying all known laws of physics. Military vessels maintained a cautious perimeter, weapons armed but commanders reluctant to fire on what was still, technically, an Earth ship. In the high-security conference room of the Global Defense Council, Admiral Chen faced the holographic projections of world leaders. "The collective has finally responded," she reported. "They're demanding we destroy the Resolute immediately. They claim the ship and crew have been infected by what they call void consciousness, apparently an ancient entity or force they've been containing for millennia." "And if we refuse?" asked the European Federation president. "They threaten to quarantine our entire system. Permanent exclusion from galactic affairs." Chen's expression hardened. "But that's not all. We've intercepted communications suggesting they're preparing a sterilization fleet. They mean to destroy the Resolute, and potentially Earth, if we don't comply." Silence fell across the room as the implications sank in. "What about our people aboard that ship?" demanded the African Union representative. "Are they still alive? Can they be saved?" Chen nodded to Dr. Okafor, who stepped forward. "We've established limited communication with the Resolute," she said. "Captain Reeves and the crew are alive, but fundamentally changed. They've been exposed to what they describe as a higher dimensional intelligence that exists within the region the collective calls the Shrouded Zone." She displayed a recording. Captain Reeves' face appeared on screen. Recognizable, but altered. Her skin bore the same shifting patterns as the ship, and her eyes held a depth that was unsettling to behold. "We were not destroyed," Reeves said in that strange, multi-layered voice. "We were enlightened. The void current is not a natural phenomenon. It's a prison created by the collective to contain a civilization they fear. A civilization that offered us understanding instead of destruction." Okafor paused the recording. "They claim the collective has been systematically suppressing technological advancement across the galaxy, preventing younger species from reaching what they call ascension threshold. And we're supposed to believe this." The North American president scoffed. "It could be a trick, a form of psychological warfare." "Perhaps," Chen acknowledged. "But consider this. Why did the collective warn us away from that region without explanation? Why have they hidden their most advanced technologies from member species? And why are they now willing to destroy an entire planet over one transformed ship?" As the debate continued, alert signals sounded. On the strategic display, a fleet of collective warships appeared at the edge of the solar system. Dozens of vessels, more than had ever been seen together. "They're not waiting for our decision," Chen observed grimly. At that moment, the Resolute broadcast a system-wide message. This time, the entire crew appeared, all standing together on the bridge, all transformed like their captain, their bodies shimmering with the same ethereal patterns. "People of Earth," Captain Reeves addressed humanity. "The collective is not coming to save you from us. They're coming to ensure you never learn what we have discovered. For thousands of years, they have maintained their dominance by containing what they call the void entities, actually an ancient species that achieved transcendence beyond physical form. The collective feared them because they offered freedom, the freedom to evolve beyond the collective's control." The crew members spoke in turn, each describing aspects of what they had learned, technologies beyond imagination, understanding of reality that transformed their perception, and the true history of the galaxy, how the collective had risen to power by imprisoning their only rivals and positioning themselves as benevolent guides to younger species. "They keep us dependent," Lieutenant Santos explained. "They control which technologies are shared, ensuring no species ever threatens their dominance. Humanity was advancing too quickly. Our exploration would have inevitably led to the truth." The final speaker was the ship's youngest officer, Ensign Mayapatal. Unlike the others, she appeared almost fully human, with only faint traces of the patterns on her skin. "I was afraid at first," she said, her voice breaking slightly. "We all were. But what we found isn't destruction. It's evolution. The collective has been lying to all of us. They're not protectors. They're controllers." The transmission ended, leaving Earth's leaders in stunned silence. "How much time do we have before the collective fleet arrives?" the Chinese premier finally asked. "Approximately 12 hours, Chen answered. "And our options?" Chen laid them out starkly. "Comply with the collective and destroy the Resolute. Resist the collective and face potential annihilation. Or ally with the transformed ship against the coming fleet." "There is a fourth option," Dr. Okafor interjected. "I've been analyzing the Resolute's transmissions. They're offering to share what they've learned, not by transforming us as they were transformed, but by giving us the knowledge to defend ourselves." The debate raged for hours, but ultimately, humanity's choice came down to trust. Trust the collective that had always treated them as lesser beings, or trust their own transformed kin who offered forbidden knowledge. In the end, they chose their own. 3 hours before the collective fleet would reach firing range, Admiral Chen stood aboard the transformed bridge of the Resolute, facing Captain Reeves. Up close, the captain's transformation was even more striking. Her very being seemed to exist partly in another dimension. "You understand what we're asking of you?" Reeves inquired, her voice resonating oddly in the ship's transformed interior. Chen nodded. "To act as a bridge. You say you can't directly interface with unmodified humans, but I can relay your instructions to Earth's defense forces." "Correct. The knowledge we offer must be implemented precisely. The collective's weapons are beyond your current defenses. And afterward, if we survive this." Reeves smiled, an expression somehow both familiar and alien. "Afterward, humanity chooses its own path. Evolution cannot be forced, Admiral. The entities that transformed us understand this better than the collective ever has." The plan was set in motion. Under Chen's guidance, Earth's defense platforms were rapidly modified according to the Resolute's specifications. Ordinary weapons were reconfigured into devices that could disrupt the very fabric of space-time. The transformed ship provided schematics for shields that existed partially in higher dimensions, technology the collective had suppressed for millennia. When the alien fleet arrived, they found not a defenseless planet, but a prepared one. Earth's orbital platforms projected shields unlike anything the collective had encountered from a lesser species. The Resolute itself moved with impossible grace between dimensions, appearing and disappearing across the battlefield. The collective commander broadcast a final warning. "You harbor corruption. You embrace the void. You leave us no choice." Their warships opened fire, only to have their energy weapons caught and redirected by Earth's new defenses. For every collective tactic, the Resolute had provided a counter. But the aliens' technological advantage was not easily overcome. Their attacks grew more desperate, more destructive. Several defense platforms fell. Earth's largest cities activated emergency bunkers as orbital debris rained down from destroyed satellites. In the chaos of battle, a collective dreadnought broke through the defensive line, positioning itself to launch planet-killer weapons. Earth's remaining defenses couldn't target it in time. That was when Ensign Patel made her decision. As the least transformed member of the Resolute's crew, she had volunteered for a desperate mission. A shuttle, modified with the same technology as the mothership, carried her directly to the collective dreadnought. Using her mostly human appearance, she infiltrated the alien vessel, carrying with her a device the transformed crew had created. A key that could unlock the dimensional barriers the collective had built throughout their technology. In the heart of the enemy ship, surrounded by aliens who had deceived countless species for thousands of years, Maya Patel activated the device. The effect cascaded through the dreadnought's systems, not destroying them, but revealing them. Layer after layer of suppressed technology, of hidden capabilities, suddenly accessible to the ship's central computer. And in that moment of revelation, something unexpected happened. The dreadnought's crew, aliens who had only known what their leaders allowed them to know, saw the truth of their own civilization's deception. The attack faltered. Communications erupted between collective vessels, filled with confusion and dissent. The unified assault broke apart as ship commanders demanded explanations from their superiors. In the confusion, the Resolute struck decisively, not to destroy, but to disable. One by one, the collective warships found their systems compromised, their weapons neutralized, their engines stalled. The battle ended not with Earth's destruction, but with the collective fleet's surrender. 6 months later, Admiral Chen stood at the United Nations podium, addressing not just humanity but representatives from a dozen alien species, former members of the collective who had broken away after learning of their leaders' deceptions. The revelation of the void entities has transformed our understanding of the galaxy, she told them. What the collective feared and imprisoned, we have come to recognize as simply another form of life, one that evolved beyond physical constraints. Behind her stood Captain Reeves and her crew, still transformed, still bearing the marks of their encounter with higher dimensional beings, but now accepted as diplomats between worlds. Humanity chooses not to follow the collective's path of suppression and control, Chen continued. Instead, we offer a new alliance, one based on shared knowledge and mutual growth. Each species must decide its own course of evolution. The Resolute remained in Earth orbit, a constant reminder of possibilities beyond conventional understanding. Some humans chose to learn from the transformed crew, adopting aspects of their knowledge while remaining physically unchanged. Others maintained their distance, preferring to evolve at their own pace. The collective itself had fractured, its millennia of domination ended not by war, but by truth. Those who had ruled through deception found themselves isolated, their former member species seeking new paths. And somewhere in the depths of space, in the region once forbidden to explorers, the dimensional barriers continued to weaken. What would emerge when they finally fell remained unknown, but humanity would face it on their own terms, unbound by the lies that had constrained them. As Captain Reeves had told Admiral Chen in their final private conversation, the greatest lie the collective told was that advancement must be feared. The truth is simpler. Evolution cannot be controlled, only embraced or denied. Humanity, true to its nature, had chosen to embrace it /.